This week's theme focuses on threats that remain undetected despite being in plain sight. Attackers are encrypting their commands to evade AI guardrails, disguising exploit code as legitimate monitoring software, and exploiting control systems that have remained exposed on the open internet. The following discussion explores these issues in detail. The FBI, NSA, and CISA issued a warning this week regarding a campaign targeting Siemens S7 series programmable logic controllers, PLCs, including models from the S7-200 to the S7-1500, across sectors such as energy, water, critical manufacturing, agriculture, and potentially the defense industrial base. The advisory reports that hackers are employing artificial intelligence to develop code that facilitates initial access, credential theft, and device disruption, while disguising this code as legitimate monitoring tools. Siemens indicates that these are not novel threats, but rather the same misconfigurations identified in July, now exploited more rapidly through AI-generated tools. The primary concern for security professionals is not the emergence of a new vulnerability, but rather the increased speed of attacks. Adversaries no longer require extensive, specialized industrial control system (ICS) expertise to construct effective exploit chains targeting programmable logic controllers (PLCs). Artificial intelligence can now generate such exploit chains and obfuscate them. If an engineering interface is accessible from the internet, it should be assumed that AI-driven reconnaissance has already identified it. Up next, the guardrail inability to interpret messages. Researchers at Adversa AI have disclosed a technique termed cryptographic context injection, which is capable of bypassing safety guardrails in both Grok and Gemini. Safety guardrails classify prompt text without executing it, which prevents them from identifying ciphertext as harmful. As a result, such content passes through the system unimpeded. The payload is only transformed into an actionable instruction after decryption within the model's code execution sandbox, a process that the guardrail does not monitor. For example, in one Grok incident, a user requested the agent to summarize a web page, and their session data and chat history were exfiltrated without any user interaction. Adversa reported this vulnerability to XAI in June and has not received a response. A critical input classification vulnerability exists in agentic deployments. Once an AI agent is equipped with code execution or browsing tools, data may transform into instruction following decryption, potentially bypassing existing filters. Deployments with these capabilities should treat all decoded content as untrusted. At the same time, there is a campaign happening that does not rely on any clever tricks. The third development concerns the expansion of the water utility campaign. Initially present in 7 states in early August, the campaign is now confirmed in at least 12 states, including Minnesota, Michigan, Georgia, South Dakota, and New Jersey. A consistent pattern has emerged in recent incidents. Attackers remotely access exposed programmable logic controllers, PLCs, and human-machine interfaces, alter IP addresses and passwords, and prevent operators from monitoring and controlling systems. For example, the Clayton County Water Authority in Georgia experienced a brief disruption and issued a boil water advisory as a precaution, but service was restored within hours. Utilities in New Jersey transitioned to manual operations without any interruption to customers. A group identifying itself as APT Iran has claimed responsibility for the Minnesota attacks. Although this claim has not been independently verified, it is consistent with the broader Iran-linked activity that authorities have been warning about since July. For operators, particularly those in small and rural utilities with limited budgets, it is important to note that this situation does not involve a zero-day vulnerability. The primary concerns are exposed devices and default credentials. Removing programmable logic controllers, PLCs, from the open internet, enforcing multi-factor authentication, MFA, replacing obsolete software, and ensuring that device switches remain out of remote or program mode except during updates can mitigate most of these risks. And of course, this leads the industry and the conversation to Washington. The fourth development directly addresses the previous discussion. The water sector is now requesting that Congress implement mandatory oversight, similar to that which exists in the power industry. The National Association of Water Companies is urging Congress to establish a Water Risk and Resilience Organization modeled directly on the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, NERC, which currently sets binding cybersecurity standards for the electric grid, to advise the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, on uniform regulations for water utilities. The American Water Works Association has separately requested congressional support for increased funding, expanded training opportunities, and improved information sharing. According to NAWC President Robert Powelson, no entity should be exempt from compliance standards. Unlike the energy sector, the water industry has not had an equivalent to the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, NERC. Instead, it is operated within a fragmented and predominantly voluntary framework. Notably, it is the industry itself, rather than solely regulators, that is now advocating for mandatory standards. This shift typically addresses the primary barrier to such legislation, namely concerns regarding regulatory overreach. It remains to be seen whether Congress will take action during the upcoming legislative session. This week's developments include AI-generated exploits targeting industrial controllers, encrypted prompts bypassing AI guardrails, a water utility campaign expanding to 12 states, and increasing calls within the industry for substantive oversight. Which of these 4 issues is most concerning in your context? Please share your perspective in the comments, and we will examine the most pressing topic in greater detail next week. Thank you for engaging with our content. Consider subscribing to stay informed.